Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the OREI team with an overview of the UHD-401MV 4x1 HDMI multiviewer. This product was engineered to allow you to share the output from 4 different HDMI media sources on a single high definition or ultra high definition monitor at the same time, while still providing complete control over how the media content from those devices are displayed in those monitors using the buttons on the front of the unit, the included remote control, or even through a connection with your computer. The product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content at resolutions up to 60 frames a second, which means it's completely compatible with all of your modern media gear. It's also HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 1.x and 2.2 compliant, which means it can accommodate a wide range of different media styles. Finally, the product provides audio extraction capabilities that will actually strip the audio component from the media stream you're sharing on that monitor and allow you to pass that along through an analog or digital connection on the back to a home stereo or soundbar for better quality audio. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and then I'll list the features and functions the product provides. I'll take a closer look at the unit, I'll explain the connections and indicators, and then finally I'll come back and do a short demonstration to show you just how simple this product will be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you open up the box, you'll find the 4x1 multi-viewer. You'll find a single DC 12-volt 2.5 amp power supply. You can plug this end into any standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs into the back of the unit on the DC port, and you can tighten the collar, and that's all the power you'll need to operate the product. You'll also find a bracketing kit you can use to mount this up off the ground and out of the way. Also included is an RS-232 connection block that you can use to connect this to your computer if you'd like to control it through that. You also have the infrared remote control as well as an infrared extender, and this is really handy if you're going to mount this inside of a cabinet or a wiring closet where you can't actually see it with the remote control. This can plug into the back of the unit. You can locate this outside of your wiring closet so it can pick up the infrared signals. Also included with the kit is a warranty card and a full instruction manual that lists important details about the product like connection diagrams, specifications, and other things you need to understand in order to use this correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll list the features and function the product provides. I'll take a closer look at the unit, and then I'll come back and actually do the demonstration. The OREI UHD-401MV can be used with all HDMI media devices, including game consoles, computers, security systems, laptops, and media players. The product's features include full support of 4K ultra high definition media content. It provides connections for 4 input devices. It is both HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 1.x and 2.2 compliant. It offers 8 individual display modes and includes analog and digital audio extraction. The 4x1 multi-viewer features a full metal enclosure which makes it very durable and also helps to eliminate a lot of the interference that may cause issues with the sensitive electronics inside. On the front of the product, starting on the left, you'll find a power button. That can be used to turn the unit on and off by simply tapping that button. The minute you turn the product on, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test where it's checking all the electronics to make sure everything is working okay. It's also checking the resolution of the 4 media devices connected as well as the resolution of the monitor that's connected to make whatever adjustments are needed to give you the best possible picture. Once that test is finished, it'll light the power LED right there, letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that are 4 HDMI input indicators, and when you're in single display mode, whichever input is currently selected will be lit up. If you're in multi-display mode, all 4 LEDs will be lit, indicating you have a good connection to all 4 of your media devices. To the right of that is an automatic indicator. You can put the unit in auto select mode by tapping this button here. When you do that, that LED will come on, letting you know you're currently in automatic mode. To the right of that is an infrared receiver behind this window, and that's used for picking up the remote control signals from the infrared remote control. And if this is located on the top of a cabinet where you have clear line of sight to the remote, it'll work just fine. But if you have this inside of a cabinet or a wiring closet and you've blocked this window, you'll need to use the infrared extender kit that comes as part of the product and move that extender outside of that cabinet to pick up those remote control signals. And that's a simple process of just plugging it into the back. I'll show you that in a minute. To the right of that is an auto button, and that can be used to put it in and out of automatic mode. To the right of that is an input button. If you're in single display mode, you can tap that button to walk through the 4 inputs that you've connected up to the device to do a full display of that particular input. If you're in multi-display mode, that won't work, and this button right here puts you in multi-display mode, and there are 8 pre-programmed modes built into the unit that you can select by tapping that button. And those are various forms of single display, multiple displays above and below, or left and right, or 4 quadrants, and again, that's fully explained in the manual. Finally, to the right of that is a resolution button, and that's used to adjust the various resolutions available for the display that's connected up to the unit, and you can tap that to walk through those resolutions. On the bottom of the unit, you'll find 4 rubber feet that are designed to protect the surface you set this down on and keep the unit in place when you put it down on a solid surface. You'll also find mounting holes on the bottom that can be used with the included bracketing kit to mount this up off the ground and out of the way if you choose to do that. On the rear of the units where you'll make all your connections, starting on the left you'll find 2 RCA connections, those are analog, and an optical SPDIF connection. This product provides audio extraction capabilities that will digitally separate the audio component from the media stream being sent to the output and allow you to pass that along through an analog connection or a digital connection to a soundbar or home stereo for better quality audio. So if you have an older stereo, you'll connect it up here. The newer soundbars use digital or optical, you can connect it up there. To the right of that is an HDMI output port. That's a standard HDMI connection. That's where you'll connect your local monitor that you'd like to display the inputs on. To the right of that are 4 HDMI input ports. These are full-size HDMI ports, and this is where you'll connect up your 4 media devices that you'd like to display on that single monitor. To the right of that is an RS-232 connection block. You can decide which of these inputs is sent to the output using the buttons on the front, the remote, or you can control it from your computer. Included with the kit is a small connection block that makes wiring this up a little bit easier to your computer. To the right of that is a 3.5mm port, and that's where that infrared extender kit plugs in. So if you need to use that kit, just plug it in here and move the infrared receiver outside the cabinet and you'll be all set. To the right of that is a DC input port, and that's used with the included power supply. You'll simply plug that power supply into any standard wall outlet. The other end of that cable has a barrel connection on it. You'll plug it in here, tighten the collar, and that provides all the power you'll need for operation. Now I'll show you the connections you'll need to make to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up 4 small media players that are each displaying a different image just to make it easy to tell them apart. And these represent my 4 HDMI media sources that I'd like to view together on a single monitor. And these can be a DVD player, a game console, a home computer, pretty much anything that outputs a standard HDMI signal. Over here I've set up a widescreen monitor as my output device, and this is where I'd like to enjoy the content from my 4 input devices. In front of me, I have the 4x1 HDMI multiviewer. Now the first set of connections I'll make are from my media devices to the multiviewer, and I've already plugged cables into the media players. The other end of those cables plug into HDMI input number 1, input number 2, input number 3, and finally input number 4. And now we're all set to connect up our output device. I have an HDMI cable connected to the monitor, which plugs into the HDMI output port in the back of the multiviewer. And now we can add power. I've already plugged in my power supply. The other end of that cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs into the DC input port in the back of the multiviewer. Now the minute I plug this in, it's going to start an internal power on self-test to check the resolution of my media source and my output display and make adjustments to give me the best possible picture. So I'll plug that in. That's going to take a second or two to make that adjustment. Once it finishes that test, it'll actually display an image and it'll come up on the screen. So what we're seeing here is the first image, which is image number 4. And right now I'm in single view mode. Now this product has 8 pre-programmed modes built into it. Single view is just one of them. And what's interesting about the product is that it's a multi-viewer, but in mode number 1 it's also a switch because I can use the input selector to step through all 4 of my inputs and use the entire display to see that input. So if I had a DVD player, a game console, a home computer, I could tap the input button and view that on the entire screen. But there are 7 other modes that combine those inputs into different configurations on the screen. So let me step through the inputs. So that's input number 1. There's input number 2, input number 3, and input number 4. Now I'll go into multi-view mode, and you'll tap this button to do that. And again, there are 7 other modes. So this is mode number 2, where you can see a large image and a smaller image. Mode number 3, that gives me 2 large images side by side. Number 4 gives me large and small. Number 5 gives me pretty large and too small. 6, same thing with different images over here. 7 gives me 4 that are equal, so it's showing me all 4 of my inputs exactly in quadrants on the screen. And finally, the last mode gives me 1 and 3 on the side. So you have a lot of different choices in the way the inputs are displayed on the screen, and you can see how beneficial that is, because maybe you're working on a computer on input number 1, but you've got security cameras you have to keep an eye on as well, so you can see those security cameras while you're working on your computer. Now if you tap it again, it'll take you back into single mode. Another thing that's interesting is the buttons on the front of the unit provide really basic functions to step through those different display modes. With the remote, you have complete control over which of the images is large, which of the image is small, how they fit in those 4 quadrants. So this gives you a lot more control than the buttons on the front of the unit if you need that type of fine-tuning, if you will, for those images. And it really is just that simple to get it working. And what I like so much about it is that I can move through those display modes using the button on the front of the unit, the remote control from across the room, or even by connecting it directly to my computer. It just gives me a ton of control over how those inputs are displayed on the screen. And it really is just that simple. I hope this overview of the OREI UHD-401MV 4x1 HDMI multi-viewer was helpful. It really does provide an incredibly easy way for you to share the output from 4 different HDMI media devices with a single high definition or ultra high definition monitor at the same time, while still having complete control over how that media content is displayed using the buttons on the front of the unit, the included remote control, or through a connection with your computer. The product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content at up to 60 frames a second. It's HDMI 2.0B as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it works with a wide range of media equipment and media types, and also provides audio extraction capabilities that will strip the audio from the media content being shared and allow you to pass that along through an analog or digital connection to a home stereo or soundbar for better quality audio. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks again for watching.